Yeah, another good show, man. Another good show. This gonna be kind of different, man. I don't know if we ever done a show like this, Zeke. It's kind of special, man. You in the first like
Yeah,
this.
I'm here. I'm excited.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, catch you
All
guys on YouTube. Now we here.
right.
Here in the A, here on episode 40 of the Block to Block podcast, the best podcast in the world for all things Web3. Here we break down the technology, what's going on in the market, and the ways in which you can benefit. I am NFT and Jai.
And I am Web3 Wayne.
And over here, the talk is different, especially on the first episode of season 3 of the podcast.
Yes. Before we get into it, we gotta do a disclaimer. So listen, we are not responsible if you lose your cheese, cheddar, mozzarella, provolone. If you lose your money, that's on you. So please, this podcast is for informational purposes only. Consult a financial advisor or any other financial professional and make sure that they're giving you the best advice so you can double, triple, multiply your money. And with that, let's get this different talk started.
Let's get it started with our guest, the one, the only, Zeke. How are you doing?
Yes.
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Great.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're here in Atlanta in Zeke's wonderful abode in his sneaker collection room, as you can see.
Yes.
This is just a fraction of the different sneakers. Like, he's a real enthusiast. So
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. And as you guys know, my name is Zeke Island. I go by Zeke Sneaks. I actually started my first business out of my dorm room at Kent State, where I met Mama Duet.
Yeah, good times. It's been over a decade plus of friendship at this point.
Yes, sir. Over 10 years.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, and this is one of the hardest working guys I know. Like, back in college, he had like 3 jobs the first semester. Like, I did not see him at all.
I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it. And still went to class. It was tough.
And he got great grades too.
Hey, that's legendary stuff right there, man.
It was a tough ride, but it was definitely worth it.
Definitely. So yeah, we wanted to bring you on a bit for just like the beginning segment of the show, just to talk a little bit about who you are and your business with Streetwear Connections, because you're one of our partners, and we wanted to really highlight the folks that we work with.
Understood, most definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background and what is Streetwear Connections?
Most definitely. So again, Zeke Sneaks. That was actually my first business that I started in my dorm room in college. I needed help actually paying for college, and I wanted to do an overseas study abroad trip, and I did not have enough money for the flight. So I actually ended up selling my own sneakers to fund that trip. And actually, the shoe is right here. This is a shoe that started it all. I ended up buying more of these. These are the What the Kobe 6s. This shoe, I ended up purchasing 2 pairs at retail. Retail was $140, and I sold one on eBay for $1,500 within 24 hours of purchasing it. Ooh. So this is what started it all. And from there, it went from something that I was passionate about, and I turned it into a business. Zeke Sneaks has evolved over the years, and I end up creating Streetwear Connections. So the whole idea with SWC, Streetwear Connections, is connecting all the different businesses that I'm a part of. I have a few different stores that I work with. Addicted to Kicks, Blueprint in Cleveland, Ohio, Stusa in Macon, Georgia. So I work with different stores all over the country. And I don't just do sneakers. I also do streetwear, accessories. I connect big brands such as Babe Supreme and Vlone to consumers, and also even my own brands and other local brands that I've interacted with along the way. And now with the partnership with Relink, we're working more so on adding the technical side of things with doing NFTs and really just thinking outside of the box. So it's pretty cool, and I'm excited for this partnership and the process of what we've been doing, because before Mamadou and Derek reached out to me about their program, about what they had going on and with their business, I didn't really know what NFTs was. I just remember just seeing like the apes and the cool art. That's all I knew. I'm like, people are buying these for crazy amounts of prices, but it's kind of like the same with sneakers that are very limited. People are buying them and they're collecting them, but I really didn't understand what's an NFT and how it can benefit my business. And with this partnership, I've learned that there's so many different ways that it benefits not just me, not just the brand, but our clientele and connecting the community. And that's the whole idea of Streetwear Connection, engaging into the community of like-minded individuals that are into fashion, and that's a part of expressing ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. And so with that, going from Zeke Sneaks to Streetwear Connections, what inspired you to say, I want to move a little bit past or beyond just being a reseller and really get into connecting these different, silos, if you will, of stores and really taking that approach. What inspired that?
I just feel like the experience, both good and bad, that I had, especially being
Mm,
a store owner, being a reseller, and traveling to different sneaker shows. Over time, I've learned that, you know, in order to have longevity in any type of business, you have to be able to have the right team around you. You have to think outside of the box, and you also have to have different forms of income, different types of hustles, just a variety of different products. And I felt
yeah.
that, if I want to actually really continue selling sneakers, I need to tap into the clothing. I need to start
Mm,
tapping into the technology to really set myself apart from everybody else. And as I started doing this, I learned, like, it's not just about me. It's about the people around me. That's how
yeah.
Zeke Sneaks became Zeke Sneaks. It wasn't just because about Zeke's shoes. It was more so of the community that I created of other resellers. If I didn't have an item, I could reach out to somebody that did. It was about the networking and the connections behind
Uh,
it. And I felt that Streetwear Connections evolved from that. It's creating a platform for not just myself to be able to utilize and do business, but for others that may not have that same platform or resources to do so. So to connect
mm.
others to be able to be on that global platform was the main reason of transitioning just from Zeke Sneaks to the dorm room to now, hey, let's think global with Streetwear Connections.
Okay, okay.
I love it. I
That's
love it. I
awesome.
love it. Yeah, and you're talking about wanting to really evolve the brand, right?
Mhm,
Because to have that longevity, you
mhm,
need that evolution, and hence why you wanted to partner with us when it comes to like the NFT program and what have you.
mhm.
So, can you tell the people like what we've done so far in terms of like the programming and maybe even like sprinkle a little bit of what's to come in the future?
Yes, we can. So it's been very cool. The Streetwear Connections website actually launched in January, and just partnering up with these guys, we came up with the first NFT for Streetwear Connections. And our first NFT is called the SWC1.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole idea of the SWC1 is basically a VIP membership program. So this allows individuals to be connected closer to just the regular customer, where you have access to exclusive product first, you have inside information that the general public does not have. And as Streetwear Connection evolves, the VIP program evolves, and the NFT, which the relink guys, they can tell you more of the details of it,
Yeah.
but it
Mm-hmm.
basically engages the community with the business and
Mm-hmm.
gives that inside information and benefits that the regular customer does not have.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where Timbuktu comes in. Our platform, sure you heard us talk about it. It's really going to be, the place that's going to help prop up the business side of things, right? Bringing in that technology, making it easy to use. One big thing we were talking with Zeke with earlier is our community feature, right? Where the only way you'll be able to access that community is if you're holding an NFT.
Mhm.
So, if you're part of this VIP program, or maybe you may catch a drop and you may get an NFT with a drop. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? That might be
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
something coming in the future. That will be the only way you can access these communities and really be in the in and be in the know of, hey, this is what's going on. This is, what I'm saying, what product is coming out next. This is where I can go and get it. And really, become a part of that community. It may also translate to, different events that we're doing.
Yes.
You never know, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
really something that can grow with the business. And I think
Mhm.
that's something that's really special about it is the fact that, you know, we only have a small inkling of what it could be,
Mhm.
especially with all the technologies coming out. So you know, very special, man, that you work with us on the
Most
SWC
definitely.
ones.
I'm honored. And, you know, this is the first of many, you know, sneak peek is that we've been talking about wearable technology and adding that as part of the NFT and SWC collab with Relink. And that's the goal next. We're going to be releasing exclusive product, exclusive designs of shirts, pants, hoodies, hats, different accessories, and they're going to have NFTs connected to them. And I'm telling you guys right now, I'm excited. I'm excited. This is next level. You hear about big companies like Nike and Adidas tapping into the NFTs, but we're going to do it a total different way. I feel like it's going to be a different level, and it's going to differentiate ourselves, and it's going to be more interactive. It's going to be something that's cool, and at the same time, it's going to be exclusive. So you're not going to be able to find it just anywhere in the market.
Exactly.
Don't miss out.
Don't miss out. And for those who are in Atlanta, just so you know, we're doing a great debrief or fireside chat with Zeke over at the Gathering Spot. So essentially this conversation, but in a lot more depth, in addition to just like an expo of the merchandise that he has within the Streetwear Connections network. So really looking forward to that. You know, that's tonight. We just wanted you guys to get a sneak peek taste of what that experience is going to be like. But otherwise, man, anything else you want to leave with the people?
Hey, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Again, thank you, Relink. I appreciate Mamadou and Derek. I'm excited for tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun to just dive in and give more information just about the industry, the sneaker industry, the streetwear industry. It's steadily evolving. We're evolving with it. So make sure you guys follow Streetwear Connections and check out the website. It's a dope website. I love it, and there's more things to come. So I appreciate you guys.
Most definitely.
That'll be in the description. Streetwearconnections.vip. And look out for the recap video of the event from tonight.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
Yes,
appreciate you.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. Peace, guys.
Peace. Yep, and that's our boy Zeke. Shout out to Zeke,
making a special guest appearance.
Special guest appearance, man.
It's always good, man, and allowing us to have the backdrop. This is dope, man. Seeing the collection. I gotta get my game up, man. I don't know. He got me out here feeling small, man.
Yeah, his shoulders do so big. Yeah. He wasn't even in the whole camera frame. I'm like, I thought I had a little bit of
one bicep. You get one bicep in the frame. One bicep in the frame.
I dapped him up yesterday, and then like I almost hurt my hand. It was like hitting a concrete. I was like, oh no, too strong.
Oh man, that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. Crazy out here in these Streetwear Connection streets.
Absolutely, but you know, we wanted you guys just to get some insight to just some of the events that we're doing. So you know, shout out to Zeke for being an extraordinary partner. You know, and that's something that's really valuable about business, or just anything you want to do in life. It's just the relationships that you make, right? You know, I met Zeke at our freshman orientation back in college in 2012, and to go from having that friendship, working together in student orgs, hanging out, to becoming business partners, right? Like, who would have thought that would have happened? Like, going from meeting this guy in Ohio to being in his lovely home here in Atlanta. So definitely, like, you know, for all my entrepreneurs or just leaders or whoever who's watching, you know, it's very vital that you maintain and you foster good relationships and always avoid burning a bridge, right? Even if you don't necessarily rock with the person no more, like, don't end it on horrible terms, right? You want to just have good relationships because you never know how that may impact you in the future.
No, for sure. You know, so this is one of those things, one of those relationships where it's like, you know, it came back around full circle, and we've had a, you know, great experience with Zeke thus far, and look forward to really growing this thing.
Absolutely. With that, let's get into one of the best segments of the show, the quick take with Web3 Wayne.
Yes, sir. Let's get into it. Today we have a dope article that we're gonna focus on, and it's really centered around Apple's policy on cryptocurrency. And what's huge about this is that really Apple is starting to soften up a little bit as the move to earn app StepN is offering in-app digital asset trading, the first of its kind. So StepN is a game that allows users to earn cryptocurrency by walking, jogging, or running. The app has been downloaded over 1 million times, has generated over 230 million in revenue. Now, Apple has previously banned cryptocurrency apps from its app store, citing concerns about fraud and security, of course, like many people have been concerned about. However, the company has recently softened its stance on cryptocurrency, and StepN is one of the first apps to be approved for an in-app cryptocurrency trading. So StepN has become the first blockchain gaming app to integrate Apple Pay or integrate with Apple Pay as well. According to a May 22, 2023 announcement shared with NFT Now. So StepN's Apple Pay integration eliminates the need for users to link a crypto wallet to transact within the app. Instead, users can add their credit or debit card information to their Apple Wallet on their iPhones, reducing transaction complexity. Of course, we all get a little bit confused when you got to do the cryptocurrency thing. So StepN is really making that easy with that Apple Pay integration. And this simplification is really aimed at increasing convenience and payment security as users' card details are not stored within the app itself. So really helps them from, data security standpoint, not having to hold that. And really the approval is a positive development for the cryptocurrency industry. Of course, we know Apple has its iOS monopoly, and it's really showing that Apple is becoming more open to cryptocurrency, and it could lead to more cryptocurrency apps being approved for the App Store. So we're also seeing this move to earn model gaining popularity, and even that as well. StepN may allow for others or a wider audience to get into this cryptocurrency arena. So this move to integrate Apple Pay into StepN platform underscores a growing trend of cross-industry partnerships as Web3 brands really look for ways to build project sustainability, right? And provide community rewards while, working on gaining a foothold amongst non-crypto native consumer base. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing a company StepN really bring in and integrate with Apple Pay to allow for the expansion and really an ease of use when it comes to Web3 technology and really onboard these non-crypto native consumers through their platform, through something that is pretty incentivized and, in some ways may not necessarily feel like Web3, but inherently there is that Web3 ideology, there is that cryptocurrency in app. And we're seeing Apple starting to loosen up on that. And last thing I'll say towards this is, it's very interesting timing. I think at this point we've seen a good bit of dust settle in terms of legislation and politicians really going after companies around cryptos. So I think this is a point where Apple is saying, okay, we know what to expect. We know what may come from. This is a good time where we can actually start loosening up on our restrictions and that we feel comfortable stepping into this cryptocurrency game, especially with a company like StepN. And that is our quick take for today.
Fire. And listening to this story, it just goes back to what you've said many times, right? In which a lot of these Web3 technologies are going to begin to get adopted by these larger organizations, like whether those be like public governmental organizations or giant corporations, right?
Yeah.
And Apple, I'm just thinking about it, right? Like how many users are within the Apple ecosystem? Like
billions, got at least
that's
at least a billion.
Yeah, at least let's say like 1 billion. And for the biggest issue right now with like Web3 is it's just not user friendly. There's no easy way for the non-Web3 native, if you will,
Yeah.
to get into this world and start using the technology, right? It can be confusing. There's a lot of moving parts. So for Apple to have a strategic partnership with StepN and to allow for the Apple Pay feature to be utilized, for checking out like NFTs and what have you, like that puts them in a great position. And I'm just thinking about like like Apple, they already have Apple Wallet, right? Apple Pay is at like any major institution or even small businesses that like take credit cards. A lot of times you can use Apple Pay. If you have an iPhone, you have an Apple Wallet.
Right.
And they're making these partnerships. I don't be surprised if Apple becomes one of the key players within Web3.
Absolutely. Especially with that. But right now, the crypto wallet is really like the biggest, I don't want to say hindrance, but it's really a centerpiece, right, of the Web3 world. It is Web3 in a nutshell, is that crypto wallet.
Right.
And if we see, Apple start to adopt some of those, Web3 wallet practices, I think we start to enter very interesting territory. Especially, when we start to talk about who are now their competitors, right? Because Solana is coming out with a phone, right? So if Solana can figure out, how to be, competitive with Apple, and they already have inherent Web3 things embedded into their devices, then that may put them ahead or put them in, even more direct competition with Apple, and maybe even put them ahead of the likes of a Samsung or whoever else is developing these phones, Google, right?
Right.
So it'll be interesting to keep watch on how that continues to be built out. I think you made a great point about Apple Wallet. We may see just that whole Apple Wallet experience become easier to integrate with other crypto wallets, right? Like one big thing that we've run into in our experience is like moving across crypto wallets, like moving from a hot wallet like MetaMask into a cold storage wallet, right? Like little things like that. I think, that'll make a difference for your non-crypto natives. For those who are a bit skeptical, even of hot wallets, who, want everything on their cold wallets. And it'll just be interesting to see where, this continues to go, from, the first inklings of it with StepN to how Apple as a global superpower, super force within business, really propels the space forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great take, great segment. And speaking of global powerhouses being a global force to be reckoned with. There's a big war that's happening right now within Asia, but we're not talking about a military war. We're talking about the war of who's going to be the centerpiece for being the digital hub or Web3 hub of Asia. And right now, the contestants are Hong Kong, Singapore, Tokyo, Seoul, and Dubai, right? We have like these different major cities that are working to essentially become that strategic place, if you will, where all of the Web3 activity is centerfold within the Asian region, right? And so there's a lot that's at stake here. Right now we have like the global revenue of like digital assets, right? So your cryptos, your NFTs, what have you, that's within the billions as of right now. And we have a projected annual growth rate of 16.1 from this year, 2023 to 2027, which will exceed $102 billion worth of assets or revenue when it comes to just digital tokens or digital assets, I should say. And so there's a lot at stake. If you can become the known hub, right, from like a branding standpoint, from a institutional standpoint, for a lot of the innovation work, and just be a hub where investors, companies, and the community wants to be a part of, it places you in a strategic position to ultimately win the war in Web3, right? And that's actually a segment we had in the last episode, episode 39, when Web3 Wayne and I gave our take on who we believe from a country or regional perspective will win the Web3 war within the years to come. So if you haven't already, check that episode out and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share it with all your loved ones. And so, yeah, let's just talk about some of like the pros and cons of like each region that's like really vying for this position, right? You know, we have Hong Kong, which is currently ranked as the number 3 best location or economy to do business at, right? Like Hong Kong is a major powerhouse. You've been there during your college days.
Yeah.
And, you know, what they have going for them is, you know, they have a very strong financial sector and a well-developed legal system. The only con that's going against them is just political uncertainty. You know, we've been seeing a lot of protests over the years that's been happening in Hong Kong. And of course, the complicated relationship, for lack of a better term, that they have with China. And as we know, the attitudes within mainland China when it comes to like business and how they would compare to those attitudes within Hong Kong, the city, is different, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Right. So that's really the main thing they have going against them. However, Hong Kong has been making a lot of intentional steps to be that Web3 hub. And then we have Singapore, right? You know, a country that is very known for its business-friendly environment and it has a strong track record of innovation, right? The only thing is, from like a branding standpoint or from a history standpoint, they haven't been known as a hub for digital assets specifically, right? So there's some work that has to be done there in order to like change that perspective. Then we have Tokyo. Everybody knows Tokyo. When you think Tokyo, you think a lot of advanced technology. So they have this really large and sophisticated hub for tech and traditional finance. But, you know, they are newer to the Web3 space. So similar to Singapore, there's some work that has to be done there. We have Seoul in South Korea, which has a growing population of tech-savvy users, right? Now, just from like a regulatory framework standpoint, there's just like that lack of clarity that investors aren't all the way sold on this location, but they do have the talent that's there. And then finally, Dubai for the United Arab Emirates, you know, technically in the Middle East, but, you know, the Middle East is like very close to that Asian region. And they are relatively new to the digital asset space, but they've been making a very huge consulted effort to attract investment to really spur in that ecosystem. So that's just the breakdown between the 5 big cities or locations, I should say. You know, since Singapore's a country, not a city. But overall, right now, it's a bit too early to determine who is going to win the race. I do have my personal opinions on like the things that are going for each location. But once again, there's so much market share that's available. And if you can dominate the Asian region, you're in a great position. And speaking of like previous episodes, like in episode 39, we talked about like the block to block scorecard for how you want to like analyze these regions, you know, technological infrastructure, the regulatory environment, the talent pool, the entrepreneur ecosystem, market size and demand, government initiatives, and finally, cultural attitudes and adoption. They all play a part in establishing a great hub for the Web3 economy. And, you know, right now, when it comes to Hong Kong, they have a lot of the infrastructure, they have the ecosystem. It's just right now that political uncertainty is a big hindrance, which is why like a Dubai, who from like the regulatory and governmental side is all squared away and they have the money and capital to attract the ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's where like this really gets kind of interesting, right? So
for sure. Yeah, and I mean, you know, that's definitely something to keep in mind. I think just from this article, too, like Seoul and Tokyo are like 2 places to really keep an eye out for, right? We talk about you know, Japan already being, you know, a place that's already thought of as, you know, technologically advanced society. And, you know, their people will probably be a little bit more open to this Web3 thing. along with like they've had some push as well as of late. You know, the country released a white paper recently. They've really been putting some other efforts out there to really grow the Web3 ecosystem. And then what you said about Soul, like, you know, they have the users who are, you know, very much interested in this Web3 thing, where, you know, I think when you talk about the market size and demand, I think that really, you know, plays into a lot of the other factors that we see. And so I can see them, you know, being dark horses and coming, you know, back from the brink of Web3 non-existence to really push forward and say, hey, we're not pushing for this thing. And because they're a little bit more, you know, there's a little less political uncertainty than like a Hong Kong. You're gonna get those countries where you're like, okay, you know what, this Tokyo is a place where, you know, we can go set up shop. Let's do that instead of the Hong Kong, right? But yeah, so we'll see what happens. It's gonna be very interesting to keep watch on, you know, which countries slash cities really push forward in being those Web3 hubs, especially over there in Asia, you know, East and West Asia slash Middle East. So I think it's gonna really be a determining factor for the US as well, you know, and the rest of the globe. So
absolutely. If I was a betting man, and I don't bet, but in terms of my predictions, I really think it comes down to, of these five, like the top threes would be like between Dubai, Tokyo, and Hong Kong. I'm leaning a bit more towards Tokyo over Hong Kong right now, right? So if you watch the previous episode, I talk a lot about, you know, in how the UAE, where Dubai is located in, is like one of the places I believe is gonna really win this Web3 war when it comes to who's gonna have the most vibrant ecosystem.
yeah,
Right. You know, they have like set up funds of like over $2 billion within that location to just attract Web3 talent. There's a lot of investors there. Dubai as a city has been really changing its image over the last couple of decades to attract a lot of foreign direct investment, right? A lot of entrepreneurs are moving out there and doing business out there. So it makes only sense, right? Where they have the capital, they have the governmental initiatives, right? It's just more so about ensuring they can attract enough talent from like the developers, these startups, what have you, or to be that leader, right? And then on the Tokyo side, when it comes to their technological infrastructure, it goes without saying, right? They're probably the number one leader when it comes to tech innovation in general. Right. Out there in Tokyo. And so they have the infrastructure, they have the talent. So if, as you mentioned, with the country pushing out their white paper, as long as that government is like really on par and aligned with, hey, we want to be this hub, like I just find it very hard for like a Seoul and a Singapore to like really compete. Not to say like they can't be vibrant hubs, but to be the number one hub in Asia, we'll have to see.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You know, I say too, man, don't underestimate China and Hong Kong. You know, you know, for, you know, many years, China kept their hands out of Hong Kong because of what it meant globally. And I think that, you know, even with them, you know, now controlling that territory a little bit more, that city a little bit more, I still think there's a lot to be said in terms of the relationships that China has built with African countries. I think that's really going to be key for any of those Asian markets, is like, how involved are you with those emerging markets? You know, we talked a little bit about that. That was episode 39, right? We talked a little bit about
and 38
and 38, right? Venom Foundation and what they're doing. But I'm sure we'll have to, you know, find some stories around it and really scope out the market and see what's going on there. But I'm sure that there are many or some stories about Chinese companies or foundations or what have you that are spreading their wings into the African market as well.
Absolutely.
So I think that'll be one of those factors that, like, if you know, you know.
Absolutely. So, and once again, if you're listening to this and you have some expertise in the area in these specific localities, we'd love to have you on the show. And we're also up and open for like a flight. As you can see, we flew over to Atlanta today. So
yeah, man. We outside, we active, you know what I'm saying? We want to give people special shows. As you can see today, we had Zeke and we have his beautiful collection behind us that who knows, maybe someday will also be part of that Timbucktoo ecosystem. And so, really like NFT and Jai has said, definitely hit us up. We'd love to come out and give the people another special episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, we appreciate you all. Make sure you please like, comment, subscribe, and share out with your loved ones. I am NFT and Jai.
And I am Web3 Wayne.
Peace.